Welcome everyone to our TIF talk on introducing generative AI to projects. Today we will delve into the importance of AI for IT technologies in the context of software testing. We will explore how generative AI tools can significantly enhance your daily key and activities and bring out transformative changes in your projects. Feel free to add your questions to the chat to the comments section, as we will have a Q&A session at the end of the talk. Thank you all for joining us, and I'm excited to pass the floor to our speaker, Natalia Boguszewska, who will guide us through this insightful journey.
Hi, colleagues. Thank you for joining us today. A couple of facts about me. My name is Natalia. I'm working in EPAM Ukraine in Kiev location, and I'm a core member and driver of IA testing in EPAM across all the EPAM. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me via Teams, emails, or other EPAM contacts. And what we have for today? For today, we will discuss three main topics: general expectations on how generative AI tools, various tools, can impact productivity of QA. It doesn't matter manual QA or automation QA. Do we have actual results on, and are they in line with general expectations? And which tools and learning paths are present in EPAM? So if you're interested in the topic, you can learn more, gain more, and maybe even apply more. So let's start from the beginning. General expectations. And general expectations were proposed in EPAM about more than a year ago, when just first generative models like GPT 3.5 and even GPT 2 versions were just announced to the public. And expectations were pretty challenging. For example, the expectation of productivity gains in test case design and development was from 30 to 60%. This topic includes analyzing requirements and generating textual test cases and even automated test cases according to acceptance tests, according to templates established on the project. It might be feature files, it might be some predefined format of textual test cases, it might be integration with some TMS systems like Jira with X-Ray, Jira with QSpace, TestRail, QTest, whatever. Next one, very significant growth was expected in test code generation and maintenance. The expectations were that test scripts on different layers for automation, unit testing, integration testing, and even system level testing, and probably end-to-end testing might be done with generative AI pretty well, without a lot of rework, without a lot of review and changing. So again, expected productivity was from 30 to 60%. Next one, not so good, but again, very promising, was test case maintenance and management, because actually it's a pain point, especially if there are some transferring from another vendor where quality standards are different or even maybe absent. And with onboarding all the test cases, typical task, you need to identify duplicate test cases. You need to rewrite boring and very long test cases, because I personally seen test case per about 300 steps. It's enormous long test case. So the expectations were that updating test cases, keeping version of test cases per version of application, identifying duplicates as test cases, standard task like let's rewrite from textual format to, for example, Gherkin format, PDD format. Again, might be done with generative AI, and expected productivity was from 20 to 40%. Next one, test data generation management. It's very problematic area because actually not enough time to create proper test data, to create new test data per each test run, so to avoid pesticide paradox is possible, and updating those data, removing obsolete data that are not catching any bugs anymore, adding some not um, pure hypothetical test data like 1 2 3 test user 1 2 3 4 5, but some kind of real data that looks like real data, look like real production data, but are not. It's a pain point, and in this case, test data generation also might be achieved better and easier with applying generative AI tools. And two last topics, test planning and executions, and test result analysis and defect management. For both those areas, expected gain was from 20 to 30% because we do not often use test planning. Probably test planning is once per release, cadence not per each sprint, test strategy if it's a master test strategy, then even less frequent. It might be once a year, for example, if test plans are written on the same test strategy and again and again. And if we're talking about test result analysis, then, well, we have pretty much tools that can do some kind of skeleton for test result report. They might be widgets in TMS like we have in Jira, in Q-test and test trail. It might be automated like we have in test report portal. So they are done, but probably new generative AI tools can help in this area. And if to dig more, then it's pretty complicated to use just one point. For example, we will use generative AI just for test case design, but will not do anything else. Because if we're talking about testers are working according to in respect with STLC model. And on this model, we can say that we have test planning where we can provide test effort estimation, do training requirements, deliverable preparation. Maybe we can do resource planning and role allocation. Maybe we have to choose best test tool selection, especially if we are talking about, for example, mobile testing, cross-browser testing. We have a lot of forms, and probably we need to make a wise choice which form to use. And again, test plan, test strategy preparation, they are standard documents. They do have a lot of templates and skeletons, but good test plan and test strategy need to be updated on a regular basis and need not just be a document, but be a document that is in use for the team. For all those stuff, we can apply generative AI. This slide is without expectation on how which productivity gain will be, but just common idea for ChatGPT, how it can help on us in different areas. The same we can say, for example, for test environment setup. Not very frequent task, but if we're talking about test data management and test data setup, it's done pretty frequent because for each story probably you have to prepare or to choose proper test data and add them to your environment. Doesn't matter what will be the way of adding. It might be based on database layer, SQL or NoSQL database. It might be textual form, like we have HL7 format for some Medicare medicine domain. It might be JSON XML data that are fed to our system, whatever, but we have to prepare it. Sometimes we need even to analyze and prepare environment for testing, especially if we're working in cloud infrastructure, not on on-premise infrastructure. Then probably you have to prepare scripts for provisioning a new node, a new virtual machine for your testing, maybe for automation testing, maybe for performance testing, maybe for testing just a particular microservice. Maybe you need to provision to create this virtual machine and in your project you have not enough developers who can help you with it, and so some senior or lead staff, even on test manual role, must be prepared to create those scripts and to create infrastructure. Next one, we can work with test execution. Sorry, but seems something is missing. Okay, test execution. Um, and test cases are missing. Okay, one more very very important slide is for test case. We can create test cases in different formats, automated or manual, whatever. We can do them. We can create them with ChatGPT or other oriented LLMs. Next one, we can do test execution. And in test execution, areas where probably LMs, generative LMs can help are at first defect tracking and reporting, because sometimes it's takes a while to create a defect in Jira or any other system, because you have to fill proper all the fields, descriptions, steps to reproduce, and it takes time just um, to to pass all those rules. And if you have some kind of a template that can be filled by someone else like ChatGPT instead of you, and upload to, for example, Jira in JSON format, that will be good. It might be some ideas with retesting defect fix, what to test more, what can be the impact, what are the workarounds of this fix, and it can ensure that developers and the whole team will not fix the bug very, very isolated, very local, but will wider it and will see how this bug can be caught in all possible cases to provide some kind of root cause analysis. And last one, test site closure. If you need to create good test result reports with an explanation of all your metrics, with explanation what to do on the next cycle, if your KPIs are on expected layer, or they are below expectation, and how you're going to improve it into the next during the next phase. For all those aspects, generative AI can be used. So for now, we have expectations, even with some percentage of productivity gains. We have ideas how to use. But will it work in real life? We don't know. We have to run experiments. In EPAM, we have a bunch of such proof of concept small projects where the main idea is that coach who knows how to not only stack, for example, business analyst stack, test stack, development task, but also knows generative AI models, knows how to apply them, how to prompt properly to get good results, is introduced to the project. Such coach is teaching the team how to use these various tools and how to track productivity gain. For today, we have not so many coaches, but we have a lot of projects with some results. Let's discuss actual results from two different projects. First of project was run on a set of internal projects, internal EPAM projects, like EPAM Plus platform, Telescope platform, staffing platform. I believe you heard about such applications inside the EPAM, and maybe you're using them on a daily basis if you're, for example, staffing coordinator. So those teams were involved into experiment of applying AI tools. Two kinds of tools were allowed. First one is ChatGPT version 4, because it was almost 10 months ago, and EPAM AI Dial was not so popular and so powerful as it is today. And the second one is Copilot license. So we have six projects in a scope, and they were trying to apply those two tools in order to gain productivity. We have different results from IQA and QA. from different projects. For example, for many and many projects, if it was applied, analysis of manual test cases to define future autotest seems to be useless. So with applying generative AI tools, they waste time more than they gain. And it might happen if a team is already very qualified, works with this project for a long time and know all the aspects. If framework is built, then probably this analysis is cheaper to do by current approach with current specialist without introducing generative AI. But, for example, implementation of different technical enablers, for example, using Copilot for creating regular expression, rewriting some code by example, was positive on many projects and was applied on many projects. One more example, create or update existing page objects. For two projects, it was good, and the gaining in this area was pretty significant. But for the third project, it was negative, and it turned out that for them, using uh, generative AI GPT-4 for updating or creating new page object was now so good and so promising. If I'm talking about refactoring, then yeah, refactoring for all teams who tried refactoring with generative AI works good. It might be Copilot who is just prompting you and you can easily rewrite your code. It might be ChatGPT where you will provide a context with your current function, method, whatever, and asking what to refactor, what to improve, how to make it according to quality standards. If, for example, we're talking about requirement analysis decomposition, it's a pain point for any tester, I believe, because it strongly depends on the level of requirement analysis. If requirement analyses are written pretty good, then the composition of them into the test cases and test suites can be done pretty easy without and with generative AI. But if requirement not clear with some assumptions, they require some knowledge outside the ticket, so something in your mind, in your head, in your history, then applying LLMs will be useless because you have to provide all those context that you do know. And in this case, you will not gain anything from using ChatGPT. So, as you see, different areas were used on different projects because seems that yeah, it's very easy to use describe express for locators, but for two projects. No locators, they were not working with them. So they were working with database layer and not so many locators in it. So they don't need this part. Or they were using some tool that is already solving this task pretty good and they are not ready to try experiment with other tool if they have good tool for now. What were the final results? Final results were from all six teams, and it's turned out that good results of applying both generative GPT-4 and Copilot were for API test from contract. They're pretty good and not so many mistakes, not so many hallucinations that making you waste your time. Generative AI can speed up refactoring. These tools might be used for data manipulation, for example, for creating SQL script for insert test data, delete test data, or update as a part of a framework. So, idea behind the hood is that you're creating some test data on database layer before the run. They're not hard coded. They are created with generative AI on the fly for each run, and after the run, they are deleted automatically. Again, with script that was generated by AI. It was for one project, but it was very impressive. And overall result we have from two teams only. The rest 4 teams were not able to provide some objective results. So subjective, they say, well, seems yes, seems we have some productivity gain, but it's now so ambitious and so high as we were expecting. It's about 10-15%, not more. But for 2 teams, we have results that are worth to share. For example, for one of the team, speed of development, speed of time for creating auto tests, automation test suites was decreased almost on 40%. It means that for the day, a person can do almost 1.5 more tests comparing with current their speed. For the other project, automated test case creation, not in time but in quantity, was growing up to 30%, and documenting, because for this project documenting it in Confluence was a must. Time for documenting all the stuff was increased on not increased, but they save up to 30% on this task. So as you see, we have different project setup, different quality of the team, and results we have different. 4 teams were not able to show some objective progress with using generative AI. But what is very funny, when they were said that, okay, experiment is over, Copilot license will not work anymore. The question was, why? We need it. We love it. It helps us a lot. They were not very happy that Copilot will not be with them anymore. The second project was a little bit different. It was a full scale of adoption generative AI on the project. So not only for test team, but for PA team, development team, DevOps team, designer team, and QA team. And if to talk about results from QA, then time in testing in hours was decreased on 70%. If we are talking about time in testing, it was test case creation because they were creating tests inside interface, not when developers were in progress. So they have a separate status where they were creating test cases, test data, testing, creating bugs, all this stuff. And this time was reduced on 70%. And what is interesting that among all the teams there, I'm not sure I can, yeah, I can. Average impact, the highest average impact was on QA team. Up to hour a day was saved during using generative AI tools. Again, it was EPAM AI dial with GPT-4 and 3 and 5 and Copilot. Their As you see, the daily impact for QA was the best. More than for BAs, more for the developers. So that was the result. What is good on this project, we have coaching. And during the coaching, coaches can observe that proficiency in creating good prompts that with high probability will return useful results without hallucination, without long time of reviewing, was growing from about 5 points up to 7 points. That's the main idea. If you cannot use those tools, if you don't understand how to prompt properly, you will not get good results because you will just waste your time on arguing with GPT model or any other LLM model what you do want from them, and saying that it's stupid, it's not providing what I do need, the code is not working, diagrams are broken, etc., etc. You need to work with this proficiency. So on this project, we have a different result. Not so good as for the previous project, but overall 70%. It's good because team can do more testing or can reassign can replan their testing team, quantity, quality, seniority pyramid to get in the same time interval the same coverage as they have for now. How to achieve them? Because as you see, this proficiency, it's very, very important. If you can't do, if you don't understand which tools can help you and how to prompt properly, you will probably will not gain anything from introducing generative AI. In EPAM, we have two marvelous accelerators. First one is EPAM AI Dial. I believe everyone already have seen it, uh, this good tool. What is good in here? We have many models. We have many models, and we have some applications and some assistants that can help you in some task. Why it's good? Because, for example, if we're talking about previous version of GPT 0613, it was with a bug. This bug was called laziness. Maybe you have faced it. You are asking GPT to do some very um, standard routine task. For example, create test cases for a story, and it's turned out that it's about 25 test cases that need to be written. And GPT says you that here 3 test cases, and now please do the rest by yourself by the same approach. So it was laziness. It didn't provide the answer. It provides a concept and was saying that please do it by yourself. I personally faced this issue when I was even insist that I need the answer. Please provide me the whole answer. GPT said me, please consider hiring a developer. Maybe a developer can do that because I already provide you an idea how to do that. And U1 version, this one is without bug of laziness, almost without. So it's more strict, more it's pretty confident, it has more information, and it's here, it's present in here. Also, you can work with some imagine DALI instances. You can introduce llama, palm, all of those models, because for some typical task it might be that palm is with 32 kilobytes is better for you because you have to provide a lot of context, and if to use GPT-4, you're out of token and you cannot have the answer because all tokens were spent on just your request. So this one too, with a lot of cool stuffs, a lot of models, ability to store prompts, ability to see their history, ability to compare the same prompt in different models. It's really pretty good tool, and I encourage you to use this tool, to try this tool if you haven't yet. Even if you don't know how to start, well, you can write a feedback in this tool, providing some small examples and having a good text in English as the output. You can use it as a teacher, as a mentor, if you're trying to learn API, SQL, English, Spanish, whatever. You can use this one tool as a tutor who can guide you what to do and how to work better. What is not very convenient with EPAM AI Dial? Personal for me, it's storing all my prompts and structures inside cache. So I have to clean a cache sometimes, browser cache. And if I'm trying to do that, then all my conversation, all my chats, and my prompts will be lost. It's a problem. It's well, a real problem because you have to restore it from the scratch. And sometimes I have pretty complicated output. For example, this one output format in Azure DevOps. Let's see it. I will ask for GPT version. Please create edge case scenarios for a typical login form that okay, and maybe some details. Login form, um, login text box, password text box, um, login with SSO, and login with Google. Uh, Link, forgot password. I'm not interested in positive test cases, only in edge cases. And next, I need them in some particular format. Uh, and for that, I can use predefined prompt, stored prompt. So here we go. And you see it's pretty complicated and pretty long. I don't need to repeat it and again. I can just invoke it. Say that I need Azure DevOps value for pass. For example, it will be sys. And you see this part from please keyword was added by using prompt, stored prompt, that I need step action in given when then format, that my structure is like here. And now I can have an output for that. Magic is happening. We have a table that's good and I can copy it, and after that I can upload to Azure DevOps because it's good. And step 1, exceeding the system define, so seems to be good. And let's see again this prompt. For me personally, it was a problem to count all those pipes and to ensure that my cells are not merged and splitted in unexpected way. So it's a problem. If it's lost, I will cry. What can I do? I can either export it to some safe place on my laptop or in OneDrive and store it for there. Or I can use another marvelous tool that is called Alita Hub. Alita Hub is very powerful. It consists of three main components. First one is Alita prompt library, where you can store your prompt, organize your prompts personal or per project, and you can even test them there, run them there, and use it as a separate Gen AI tool. It has integrations with IDE. So basically, once prompts are stored in the library, you can invoke them into your IDE. IDEA VS Code. You can create your code into the IDE according to the rules from the prompt. And the last one is using a chat, when you can use MS Teams chat or Slack chat to invoke already stored prompt and to have result. For example, if we're talking about, where is it? Where is it? Yeah, here we go. That's Project Alita. And if I'm talking about, for example, my library, it's for now pretty simple, pretty a small one. I have just one prompt for generation in QA test format, but in here, context in here, I can specify system, I can specify assistant, I can specify variables at the same way as they are in dial. Moreover, I can export them from dial. I can uh, import them to dial, and I can do vice versa. I can export them in here, and in upcoming version there will be direct integration from dial to Alita. No need to export and import. You just can go to dial or vice versa, go to Alita. And in here I can do the same. For example, I can run and say, okay, I need uh, the structure for scenario of registration form. That's my use case, that's my rules, how to do that, and now I have the same answer. So I can use this one, or I can use this part as a separate chat in Teams. And basically, this Alita demo is allowed for anyone in PAM. You cannot add new prompts and new ideas, but you can, sorry, wrong language. You can see which command it has and use them. Magic under the hood. Just typing, typing, typing. For example, that's the result of command. Yeah, what does it mean? Okay, welcome. Oh, welcome. Okay, command C. I'm sorry, command C. Okay, for example, I need to create a quiz. Create a quiz. That's predefined format, and this quiz was about the Witcher. We have some context of this Witcher, and I need create a quiz on the 5 questions. Prompt is somewhere in here in prompt library. It was proposed, it was set to temperature, to model, whatever, all aspects were there. And now I'm saying that just an answer. I need just an answer. I'm not specifying in here a format how to perform the output. I'm not specifying any additional information. I'm just invoking already created prompt for me. Oh, okay. Sometimes it's happening. It's demo karma. Let's try once again. Maybe 5 questions are too long for GPT to create it. No. Okay. One question. Oh, it's created. Finally, we have an output. Question, answer. I didn't, and the same for submit format. In submit format, you can use prediction, this one prediction, change something, and obtain a new version. And again, you don't need to specify a prompt because someone wise, like coach or lead, have established everything on dial level. The same, you can go to Alita Hub and that shared test cases, some kind of collections for learning. Where's collections? Collections, here we go. Alita demo shared. And these two test cases are in here. You can use them, you can run them, you cannot change them. What does it mean? That in project you have to establish set of prompts once, and from now on the whole team can reuse them, not being very proficient in prompt engineering, in prompt crafting, but they can reuse and they can save their time for more interesting and challenging tasks. And to learn, you can go to Learning Path. We have foundation layers with Prompt Engineering Foundation and Engineering Support, AI supported quality assurance engineering path. For automation, we don't have a specific course yet, but you can work with developer uh, courses because very many ideas and very many approaches on programming might be reused for automation testers as well. Also, you can go through Python, JavaScript, and if you're interested in mentor guided format, you can use this one program. All of them are available on Learn portal, and I believe we will share links to each of these courses. Actually, that's all from my side. And now, question and answers. If you have any, please put them into the chat and I will try to answer.
Thank you, Natalia. Let's move on to the questions that have been already added to our comment section. And I'd like to encourage our listeners one more time. Please don't hesitate to share any ideas, any comments on today's talk. So our first question is, how would you recommend estimating the time needed to introduce AI as a test manager? What are the main points worth paying attention to from your experience?
If we're talking about personal, then personal, it might be about 2 weeks for daily using of AI tools, different AI tools, learning a lot of information, not only in EPAM, but outside as well, because we have courses from Coursera, from Microsoft Foundation, all of them. You have to look on them and they might provide you better information, better examples. If we're talking about introducing AI on a project, then typically it's about 3 months. First month, just learning. Second month, trying and trying not to be upset that it's not working. About in a month and a half, there will be some gaining. There will be some brilliant employees who say it works for me, and now I can do more and better. And you see, I can do that. I can do that. Let's create a hackathon. Let's create a concourse. Let's do a team building with ChatGPT. And on the third month, we will have a stable growing of productivity within a team. So personal, 2 weeks, but using on daily basis. On a project, 3 months. And
Thank you,
what is the main
Natalia.
points worth paying attention to? Uh, don't be upset that it's not working, because I do know that a typical problem. People are trying to use generative AI models as some kind of smart Excel, hoping that it will do everything. You can feed it Excel spreadsheet with some information about, for example, bugs, test cases, and it will create marvelous test reports as an output. No way, it's not a calculator. It will not calculate you properly. You can do such an example and you will see that clusterization, yeah. So if you will use, for example, EPAM AI dial, fed CSV with different box, and will ask, please populate just box with high priority, it will do that. But if you will try to count them, the answer most probably will be wrong. So, main point, don't be upset. Try to do that. It's not just no silver bullet that you can just use it and you will be great and awesome prompting. No, you have to work with it and lessons learned.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for the question.
Natalia. Yeah, and it seems that our listeners are still too impressed with the information that they have received, and we have a few questions in our comment section, but there is still one remaining question. So, could you please summarize which common key activities are advised to be delegated first?
Test case creation, maybe even on checklist creation, but typically it's the most easiest way to use generative AI. You can fit requirement if you have requirement, or contract if you have some kind of a swagger, and ask about checklist to verify all the ideas, positive, negative edge case scenarios, or you can try to ask to reformat test case in a particular format that is the same as your task management system has. So that's two. This one very simple topic, and productivity on it and gaining on it's marvelous. After that, you will have a lot of test cases with low priority and no time to run it, but test coverage will grow. So, yeah.
And let's move on to the next question or comment. I've tried to use a little Copilot in Visual Studio Code and I haven't been able to make it work. It
Yeah,
doesn't make suggestions to me. Where can I find documentation, please?
yeah. I will share documentation because it has documentation. It might be that there will some logs. We have now documentation, and we are working on some course video course that. Will explain typical problems, how to see that no connection with a dial, no answer, etc., etc. I will share it as a follow-up.
Thank you, Natalia. And we are on time, and it seems that we can wrap up our Q&A session. So, dear listeners, if you have any questions, comments, or um, anything related, you can contact our speaker, Natalia, in this Tech Talk chat or in Teams. And I believe that the information that have been provided will allow many of our colleagues to improve the results of our work and introduce something new. So thank you, Natalia, for sharing your expertise and insights for us today. Your presentation has been incredibly informative and has provided us with valuable knowledge on how AI can enhance our care activities, both manual and automation. And I'd like to invite our listeners to our future events when we will continue to explore innovative technologies and practices in software testing. And lastly, as a token of our appreciation, we suggest sending badges as an optimal way to say thank you to our speaker. You can do it both from Heroes or via community platform. So thank you once again, Natalia. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure
colleagues.
to work with you, and we look forward to seeing you all in our next session. Thank you and
Have a
goodbye.
good day. Bye.